Today, I'm joined by Will O'Donnell. He's the head of corporate development and growth at Prologis and the founder and managing director of Prologis Ventures, the innovation platform and venture capital arm of Prologis. With over 25 years' experience, he has a track record of investing across asset classes, including venture capital, real estate, private equity, and corporate acquisitions. Before joining Legacy AMB, Will served as the Director of Acquisition Solutions at Axiom Impact and as a managing consultant at Cambridge Technology Partners. Will holds a bachelor's degree in English and Spanish from Duke University. Will, thanks for joining us here today at Cityscape Global.
Nicole, it's a pleasure.
So Prologis Ventures sits at this intersection of logistics and technology. How is AI transforming global supply chains, and what innovations do you believe that will have the biggest impact over the next 5 years?
Certainly. So I'll give a little background on Prologis as a
Please.
starting point. Prologis is the largest global operator of logistics real estates. We own 1.3 billion square feet of warehouses across 20 countries. The way we've looked at it is AI provides a way to get better visibility across a lot of disparate systems. So one of the challenges exists in supply chain is you have individuals, we own the warehouse, people inside the warehouse operate it. You have different people who drive trucks. There's a unique data set that's in each of those. So what AI allows people to do is capture that information and enhance decision making. One of the challenges that exist in supply chain is the unpredictability. So you think of tariffs or wars, natural disasters. There's things that you can't expect, and you need people across the entire chain to be able to react in real time. So AI is a way that we can better enable people to communicate, capture information, and make enhanced decisions on how to proceed. From a business, our business is making decisions. So how do we invest capital? How do we build better buildings? How do we partner with our customers? AI allows us to enhance that decision making and increase the velocity of making decisions. And by that, probably, I don't know, generally 75, 80% of the time is spent researching, look at all sorts of documentation. If we can cut that down and be able to capture information faster, our employees can be better at their jobs and enhance the decision making and make them faster.
So it comes down to speed.
Speed.
With
Speed and quality.
Speed and quality, exactly, not forgetting that. And with these technologies like automation, robotics, analytics, and computer vision are rapidly reshaping warehouse operations, which of these technologies are proving most disruptive, and how are they redefining that role of industrial real estate?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of them. So one of where AI has historically come to roost is in the digital world. So you think about creation of images or software. Supply chain's the physical world. So not only are we thinking about bytes, but you're moving atoms, you're moving goods. So a lot of the technology you just mentioned is how do you perform those tasks better? So computer vision, for example, it's a way to capture physical images and extract that information, then people can react to it. So you can see trucks entering in a warehouse. If it's a bad actor, you can track that incident. You now have a physical record of where that truck is. You can send it to the right dock door. Operations in the warehouse, you can make sure they're safer. You can understand where goods are flowing. And then automation is a way to enhance how people operate within a warehouse. An example, when you order something from Amazon, you might have a toothbrush, you might have soap, you might have a book. They're all over the warehouse. So historically, people had to walk 7, 8 miles a day picking things off shelves. Automation allows robots to bring that to the person. So it's a way to really enhance the experience, take out some of the repetitive, challenging, and often unsafe process that were in place and replace it with an automated. I don't think we see a day where it will be completely automated. You're going to always need humans, but we're seeing really enhancing the productivity and the experience workers have within a warehouse.
And probably the human error also.
The human error goes down too, yeah.
Yeah. There is unprecedented global demand for data centers, especially with this rise of AI. I'm sure you're very data heavy. Why is powered land becoming such a critical asset for developers and investors?
Yeah, so along with our logistics platform, we're also heavily involved in building data centers. Part of it is we're looking at 5,500 buildings we have and looking where there's conversion. So how do we take what is an existing warehouse today and upgrade that to a data center? We also have a significant land bank that we're looking again, is there a higher and better use as a data center? The biggest challenge that exists today is the grids are not sufficient to actually provide the power that's needed. And you have hyperscalers building 500 megawatt data centers. I mean, it's a massive amount of power, equivalent to cities. So a lot of the angst that people have now is how do we provide power in a timely manner to be able to actually run these data centers? And as the demand for compute continually increases, the power demands themselves increase. You also look at infrastructure such as like EV charging. A lot of buildings are going electrical too. So all these things are putting constraints on the grid that didn't exist. In the US, we need to increase the grid capacity, almost double it from what it is today in the next 6-7 years just to keep up. And that's not even accounting for the accelerated pace of AI. So as a company, we're spending a lot of time partnering with utilities. We're looking at technologies like microgrids, which are basically creating power plants on site that could generate electricity for that site. Nuclear is something that's obviously in the news a lot now, and there's a lot of advancements that we're excited about. But it's really looking at sustainability too. So we're the largest operator of rooftop solar in the world, and only 5% of our roofs are covered. So we're really looking at how do we accelerate the adoption and use of solar energy along with battery storage as an additional supplement to the energy grid and capacity needs that people have.
Well, where we are right now in Saudi, they've got one of the greatest
Yes.
natural resources right up there in the sky, don't they?
Yes.
You've spoken about, so looking ahead,
Yeah.
how do you see this convergence of logistics infrastructure and digital infrastructure shaping the next generation of industrial and mixed-use real estate projects?
I think it's a combination of all those things. So by that, when you look at mixed use, there's a consumption need. So people need to order goods. You think about all the groceries that go into the grocery store, all the furnishing that's in your house, all the desks and things that we're sitting in. These have to come through somewhere. So the logistics of being able to supply people with the items that they need to operate is a big part of any community. It often gets overlooked because we like the big shiny towers and the beautiful houses, but you really need the infrastructure behind the movement of goods and making sure the right items are in the right place at the right time. So I think as consumer demands have become, I mean, we now think it's our God-given right to get things in 2 days. So what does that mean at actually having the right inventory at the right place? Digital technology allows that to happen. So how do you predict trends on weather? How do you predict trends on consumer demands? Seasonality of food, for example. All that goes into a supply chain that's dynamic and resilient, and as changes happen. If there's a natural disaster, how do you route goods to a different area to ensure people have the goods in inventory when they need? I think it's getting more and more complicated as consumer demands have increased. And then obviously, with supply chains evolving right now because of political situations, people are consistently looking at how do we adapt and become much more dynamic about where we're putting goods next to consumption. So as we're building communities, and there's obviously here at Cityscape a lot of communities being built, how do you actually provide the underlying infrastructure that's needed to actually have the communities operate and have the goods that people expect and need?
Yeah, we want our berries year-round, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and it's an interesting with food. I mean, how do you actually have the cold chain so you can get food fresh, delivered, and reduce spoilage, and make sure that people have access to healthy, clean food?
And how is that?
It's hard.
Yeah.
And I think that also gets into power. So how do you get back and be able to provide the power that's needed to operate a cold chain? A lot of what our company does is the dry warehouses, so not temperature control, but the same thing. You have to have them interoperate because consumer expectations are that we have the goods when we need them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Will, thank you very much for your
My
time
pleasure.
today, and we'll see you next year.
Perfect. Thank
you.
you.